Hey, it's Carrie from Trendy Tree. Today we made this snowman wreath, and we have all the supplies that you'll need listed in the blog post, and you'll find that at trendytree.com.
The first thing I want to show you is this wreath holder. This is a great tool. You can make a lot of mesh wreaths, and you can get this from Susie's Wreaths and Things from her Etsy shop. And I'll give you a link in the video, in the description or in the blog post. But you can put up to 3 rolls of mesh, 21-inch mesh, or you can do 6 rolls of 10-inch mesh. And then it has this little piece that you put your mesh under, and it just makes cutting your mesh so much easier. And the whole thing folds up to be more concise so you can move it out of your way. So the first thing that we're going to do is cut our mesh. I have both styles of mesh on the roller, and we're going to cut the pieces 20 inches in length. This is a ruffle technique. Not ready for a new cutter, but I'm just going to see, it just makes cutting your mesh so much easier and quicker. So I'm going to finish cutting the mesh, and then I'll come back. Now I was able to cut 18 pieces of mesh, but now my last piece of this is a little bit shorter than 20 inches, but it won't show. I used up all the mesh by cutting the pieces 20 inches in length, and this one is not quite 20 inches either, but it won't show. This is a 24-inch pencil wreath. Now the pencil wreaths measure 15 inches across the widest width, but with the addition of mesh, ribbon, and other products, you wind up with a wreath that measures 24 inches or greater. We're going to start on the outside, and we're just going to pull the twist out, get them spread out and ready, and then we're going to make our first ruffle. Now to make a ruffle, we're going to start, I chose these 2 different kinds of mesh because the mesh with the border foil is a little bit more expensive than just a plain mesh, a plain metallic mesh. So I'm going to put a plain metallic mesh ruffle on the bottom, and then I'm going to go on top with the border mesh. So you just spread your mesh out, and you're going to scrunch right up through the center and make a ruffle. And just kind of pull that mesh to you. And make that ruffle. It kind of looks like a little bow tie. And we're going to secure it. Just a twist, lay it in a twist. It doesn't matter where you start. And just secure it enough to just hold that for right now, because I'm going to make another ruffle out of the border mesh and lay that down right on top of it. Okay. And then I'm going to undo that twist and lay that next ruffle right on top, and secure the twist back with a couple of turns. And I'm just going to do a couple of turns because I may come back and put some ribbon in it. So we're going to do that all the way around the outer ring. Put a layer of the silver on the bottom, the white and silver on the bottom, and then the border on top. And I'll go ahead and I'll use this little short piece to show you how, being a little bit short will not hurt anything. So I'm going to make that ruffle. And let's see, there's my little shorter piece. And you can always, I cut these ruffles 20 inches to use up all my mesh. If you wanted to make them 18 inches, 16 inches, or even 15, that would work too. And if you're using just one kind of mesh, you can make your ruffle 30 inches in length. Of course, it's 10 yards on a roll, so that's 360 inches, so you can just do the math. Okay, I've got to cut that little piece of paper off. But that's the ruffle that didn't have quite as much mesh in it, and of course it won't show. This is the wreath after we've gone all the way around it with the 2 ruffles on the outer ring. And now we're going to move to the inner ring and do the same kind of ruffle. Okay, now there's our wreath after we put ruffles on the inside ring. Now you'll need to flip it over to the back and kind of push the ruffles out of the center and kind of free up that center a little bit. And the next thing we're going to do is put the snowman head on.
Is all this go?
The snowman head is made of metal and it has a couple of little holes in it. So we're going to use some chenille stems and attach it to the center of the wreath. Now we're just going to kind of nestle it down in the wreath a little bit. You don't want to push it all the way down in the center because you want the sign to kind of be out on the top of your wreath. Just thread your chenille stem through the hole, and you want to leave the full length of your chenille stem because you need that extra length so that you don't press your sign down into the wreath too far. So you just find your center and kind of work your fingers from the back of the wreath and get the chenille stem and attach it to the work wreath frame. So there's our there's our snowman face after we secured it to the work wreath frame. Now I've got this little snowman hat on a stick that you can use to, put on the top if you want, and I'm just going to thread it down through the work wreath and kind of get a position, and then I'll attach it from the back. I'll turn the wreath over and attach it from the back. Okay, so I positioned the hat where I wanted it, and then I attached it from the back, and I secured a zip tie around the stick and zip tied it to the work wreath frame. And then I also needed to secure it at the bottom, but the stick is not long enough to go all the way to the work wreath frame, so I secured a chenille stem to it with a couple of zip ties so that I could get all the way down to the work wreath frame. Mesh hangs up on everything. It hangs up on the shirt I've got on today. Now we want to snip off the ends of those zip ties with some wire cutters. I think instead of ribbon strips, you could do ribbon strips. You can do ribbon strips or ribbon strips and bows, just any combination. But I think what I'm going to do today is just a big wreath bow and put it right in this area. So I brought several different ribbons. This is a white glitter swirl. And I have another one that's glittery, and it's like an icicle ribbon, 2.5 inch. And then I have a red velvet with a black chenille edge that's 1.5, and then I have this ribbon called Falling Snow that's black with white snowflakes. So I'm just going to make a wreath bow, and I'm going to use the Easy Bow Maker. Now this is something we sell on Trendy Tree, of course. All the supplies that I'm using today came from the Trendy Tree website. So check out the website and check out the blog post. The blog post will contain links to all the different products and suggestions if something is sold out. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so you can see me make the bow. I'm going to make a wreath bow of about 12 inches, but I'm going to have my tails longer at about 16 inches. So I'm going to start out with this 2.5 inch ribbon, and I've cut the end of it into a chevron cut, and I'm going to measure my 16-inch tail, and then I'm just going to pinch that up. This is heavily glittered, so it's pretty stiff, and drop that down in the bow maker and just pull that tail down out of the way. And then I'm going to twist my ribbon to get the right side up, and I'm going to make a 6-inch loop on one side. Going to drop that down in the bow maker, kind of measure my loop again, twist to get the right side up, make a 6-inch loop on the other side. Each time I'm going to twist to get the right side up. And I'm going to put 2 loops on each side for this bow. Twist. Bring the right side up. Okay, now I'm ready to measure my 16-inch tail, so I'm just going to measure it by that ribbon, my first tail. Cut that off. I'm going to fold that ribbon in half lengthwise and cut across the folded edge to make that dovetail look. So now I've got the base of my bow. I've got 2 loops on each side, and now I'm going to choose another ribbon. So this time I'm going to use the falling snow ribbon that's 1.5 inches in length, and usually on the 1.5 inch ribbons I just cut those tails at an angle. And I'm going to get my 16-inch tail, pinch the ribbon together, drop it in the slot, twist the ribbon, get the right side up, make a 6-inch loop, twist, get the right side up, make another 6-inch loop, and I'm going to do 2 loops on each side with this ribbon also. Each time I've twisted to get the right side up, and I'm keeping the loops all the same at this point. Okay, so now I have 2 loops on each side of the black ribbon, and I'm going to measure the tail, cut that off. For the next ribbon, I'm going to use this red velvet with black edge that's also 1.5 inches, and I'm going to just cut that. You just might as well cut that little folded edge off because you'll never straighten it out. So I'm just going to clip that off, measure my 18-inch tail, 16-inch tail, sorry. Now this time I'm going to make these loops a little bit smaller, and I've twisted my ribbon, so let me take that back out. Okay, this time I'm going to make these loops about 5 inches. So I'm going to twist, get my right side up, and make the loop about 5 inches. Drop it down, twist, make a 5-inch loop on the other side, drop it down, twist, that's 2 loops on that side, and now I'm going to make another loop on the opposite side. Okay, and now this time, okay, I'm going to make one more little short loop that's just a couple of inches. That's going to be my center loop, and then bring that tail down, cut it off, measure it with the other, and cut it off. Now I have a zip tie and a chenille stem, so I'm going to press that bow down and make that stack as tight as I can, and I'm going to ease it off the bow maker. You want to keep everything stacked up, and sometimes, you know, it can pop out of your hands. I'm going to take the zip tie, lay it right across the top, and bring it around to the back, around my stack. Hold it onto it, and I'm going to start the zip tie, but I'm not going to pull it all the way tight yet. I'm going to get it started. But before I pull it snug, I'm going to take a chenille stem and run it under that zip tie. That's what I'm going to use to attach it to the wreath. So now I'm going to tighten that zip tie, pull it tight as I can. Okay? And then you snip off the end of that zip tie with your wire cutters. So now you've secured your bow. Just give that zip tie a couple of twists. Not the zip tie, but the chenille stem. And you can attach the bow to the wreath with the chenille stem. Now we're just going to turn the bow over and fluff it out. And we're just going to start fluffing from the bottom. We're just going to pull those loops out and fluff them up. This is all wired ribbon. And you can just kind of run your fingers down the ribbon to kind of give it a little curl, or however you want to finish off those ends. Okay, and then it's ready to attach to your wreath. So now you're ready to attach your bow to your wreath. So just kind of find your placement, and then when you do, just kind of work your fingers through the mesh from the back, through the work wreath frame, and get a hold of that chenille stem and secure it to the work wreath frame. So there's the wreath after we finished it. We just, there's ribbon left over. If you wanted to do ribbon strips, you can. All the supplies came from Trendy Tree, and if you will, subscribe to our channel. There's a little button right there on the front of your screen, on the right side of the video. So subscribe to our channel so you won't miss our next video coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.